Hey, Praxis. My name is James Bell. I'm 23 years old. I'm a 2014 graduate of Capital Technology University with a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering. Um, I'm I've over I've gone over the time twice already, so I'm just gonna try to like breeze through these questions. Who are you and what's your story? Uh, so I've given the who. My story is no more unique or ununique than anyone else's. Uh, Growing up, I was always pretty creative, but at the same time, pretty, uh, pretty good with technology and things like that. I was also like, I've always had just like one foot in the creative space and like another foot in the, stereotypical, logical, rational space, right? So it's been interesting to see where those contrasts uh, take me uh, when I'm developing like ideas or looking at things or just analyzing different concepts and things like that. Um, Let me see. What's the hardest thing you've ever worked on? I think probably the hardest thing I've ever worked on is, strictly answering the question would be my current job. So, when I first started, it was definitely one of the hardest things I'd ever worked on because uh, you don't give me hope. you know, it's like you get thrown into the water and you have to sink or you swim, and sinking isn't an option. So, whatever programming languages you have to learn, whatever uh, technologies you have to learn, whatever discipline you have to learn. I didn't go to school for software engineering, but I had to pick it up. Um, but it's a hard question because I'm always looking for like hard stuff to do. Or I'm not looking for hard stuff, but I'm looking for challenging stuff, and that. But yeah, so I'm always looking for uh, a challenge, and that's what I always get, and that's just self actualization, I guess. Positive disintegration, Camiers, Dabrowski, all that good stuff. you know, um, what value would you bring to a business? I think I would just bring like the concrete, the tried and true like uh, values that make something work. So uh, I guess like uh, logic and just holistic analysis. So looking at things objectively and from a bird's eye, top down view, and bottom up when necessary. You know, Creativity. So like looking at things in a new way, improving existing processes, inventing new ones. You know, um, Care. So like fostering a healthy and collaborative work environment between people. Even if I'm not in a leading position, you know, that's a responsibility that falls on everyone, and challenge. So I'm not really uh, uncomfortable with challenging authorities or forming new precedents. And all done tactfully, of course, but it's definitely not something I shy away from if I see that there's a need, you know. Let me see. What's the biggest difference between you and your peers in high school and college? Um, I'm left-handed. No, I would probably say this is probably more toward like elementary school. It's like, oh well, high school and college though. Hmm. I'll probably say autonomy. Uh, I've always been a pretty strong self starter. If I take interest in something, I'll learn it pretty thoroughly. Just like I'll basically get a background on it so that I can, the background is like the spine, and then I'll make a framework of things that I need to learn in order to like master this thing to whatever degree I'm trying to master it. Then I just get to it, you know. Um, I think foresight and future orientation. Uh, I have a lot of opinions that they don't necessarily agree with, just because it's taking things into account that uh, are a little bit farther into the future than just like right now, you know. Uh, Objectivity toward precedent. So like if something is established, that doesn't mean change it, but that also doesn't mean hold it in a higher regard just for the sake of. So I'm always at least testing things. If I don't challenge it, I'm at least looking at it to see, is this still valid, you know? And is it working? Is it taking us where we're going to go? Um, and I think probably the most, or one of the most important things is just like dialectic analysis, looking at things from multiple angles and then synthesizing a, you know, something that's greater than the sum of its parts, idea wise, you know. And I think something that branches off of that is like appreciation, mutual appreciation of all aspects of a thing. You know, everything has value. When was the last time you changed a belief, and what was it? I'm gonna try to like, I'm gonna start hurrying up. I'm starting to run out of time. Um, I recently got into like um, Wilhelm Reich's work with body psychology, and before I had or well, the existing paradigm that, you know, aligned with what recognize was more of a, of course, mind-centered psychology. But Wilhelm Reich has done a lot of work in terms of redefining uh, the limits of cognition, you know, and not limiting it just to the brain, but the body throughout, you know. Who's your favorite philosopher slash thinker? My favorite philosopher is definitely Plato, hands down. I have a bunch, but Plato is like up there all the way. Thinkers will probably be W.E.B. Du Bois and Ralph Waldo Emerson. Uh, they're pretty dope. What would I do with $1 million in 20 seconds? Um, I would use it as a platform to establish uh, a meaningful, basically establish a meaningful business platform whereupon I can approach investors so I can get more money and try to expand it out and, you know, get as much bang for my buck as possible. But yeah, I have a bunch of like game changer ideas, and I would try to fund those until I could get more interest from outside sources and things like that. Um, but yeah, I'll try to make it and grow it into more, you know. So I'm a little bit over, but only by about 30 seconds. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to correspondence in the future.